Good morning all. I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but what I want to try and do from 2024 onwards as a continual thing is look after my motorbike. And because I haven't looked after my Bonneville, of course I currently don't have it. So even if it's a press bike now, I want to get into the rhythm and the routine, looking after it, giving it a clean, lubing the chain, making sure everything's okay. So from today, early January, I'll begin with the Super Meteor. Give it a little hose down, check the chain, look after it, make sure it always looks nice and respectable.
You want my powers, I will show you where they go. You like the wind, I'll tell you where it goes. Clean as you go, clean as you go, clean as you go, yeah. You need my energy, I'll show you where to go. You want the rivers, let me show you where they flow. Clean as you go, clean as you go, clean as you go. You want the highest building in your town. Where's my trees? I don't see them around here no more. You wanna go to Mars, but the soil is full of mercury. Keep my water clean, free from PVC. How many pieces of plastic in the Tennessee River? I hope this makes you see things clearer.
When I get the Bonneville back, first thing I'm doing is buying a centre stand. It's the single most useful thing for motorbike maintenance. A job that without a centre stand, for example lubing the chain, would take 10 minutes with no centre stand can be done in about 15 seconds. Plus, if you're changing tyres, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this. I went to 2 tyre shops about 2 years ago to get the tyres changed on my Bonneville. Both of the places said, yes, we can change tyres on a motorbike, but you have to provide your own bike stand or take the tyres off yourself. That blew my mind. It seemed so weird to me that tyre shops don't supply tyre stands. I guess it's because maybe every bike's different with the kind of stand they need. So it turns into a 2-person job. You riding your bike there and then someone coming with a stand in a car, which is just ridiculous. So the amount of hassle it saves, that's perfect. The amount of hassle saved with having a stand, a centre stand, gigantic. Plus, if you're doing a big trip and you're going to the middle of nowhere and you get a puncture, you can take off your own tyre if you have a centre stand, but you can't do that without one. So it makes sense in every situation. Next up, adjust the mirrors. I've had this bike for, it's got to be 2 weeks or so, maybe even more. And damn it, half my tools are in the tool roll. I'm doing a bit of user testing and I've left it upstairs. Hopefully I've got enough. I need to adjust the mirrors because they're pointing directly downwards and I can't see a thing with them. I've just been too lazy to change them. So, because I may have, it's always the way, the one I need is in the tool roll, I think. But because I've got it for so long, I will, oh no, that's okay, that's okay. I'll adjust them and I'll just assume that I've got this bike for the indefinite future until I get that awkward call from Royal Enfield to say that they need the bike back. Someone else wants to give it a go and I can't hog it. Okay, see how easy this is. Very easy. It's funny how over the years our tastes slightly change and evolve in the kind of bikes that we like. Whether you're doing a huge change from a modern classic to an adventure bike because, well, adventure bikes can do everything, or just subtle changes. For example, I used to love bar and mirrors, and I used to love the idea of blacking everything out. Anything chrome, anything brushed aluminium, etc. I wanted to get rid of it all and replace it with black parts. I remember with my Bonneville, I changed my chrome mirrors to black bar end mirrors. But now, I like chrome, I like brushed aluminium, I like exposed steel. I just love that contrast, a bit of black here and there, a bit of the exposed metal. And from a pure biking point of view, this is what I love. Simple single front headlamp, 2 chrome mirrors attached nicely just either side of the instrument gauge. Just pure elegance, exactly how you'd imagine a bike would have been 50 years ago and all the way through to today. This for me, with the Super Meteor, is quite close to perfect. I love the purity of the design. I love the classicness of it. I love the fact it's a joy to work on even simple things just because everything's exposed and right there for you. That's a lovely bike. I will add one thing actually, just before I stop filming. The Super Meteor is a bike I love, but there are 2 things I've learned after riding it for, what's it on now? 500 miles. 500 miles on the clock, what would I have done? Maybe 450, wild guess. I think it had under 100 when I got it. The gearbox is nothing to write home about. It's acceptable, just, but no better than just acceptable. It's a bit clunky, you sometimes miss gear, or you sometimes miss gears, and that is actually a little more than sometimes. It's quite frequent for me to have to tap again to get into a certain gear because it hasn't properly engaged. And also, I know I said it in the review, the tripper navigation, it's okay, but the problem with these tiny navigations are, if you're driving along or riding along, especially where there are lots of junctions or if you're in a city, it will say turn left in 50 yards, but the problem is there could be 2 lefts, one literally straight after the next, and a lot of the time you need more information than just a little, let me just turn this back on. You need more information than just saying turn left in 80 yards. You need to see the information saying take the A80 to Brighton in 80 yards. So I found it sometimes slightly confusing using that. And the money Royal Enfield could have saved from not putting that there. They could have made a few extra nicer things, for example, nicer instruments around here. And tech ages appallingly badly. All tech, regardless of what it is. It's not something against Tripper because it's a perfectly decent system and I can see where it has a place, but all technology ages badly. Look at the sat-nav from your 12-year-old car. Look at any tech on a bike. I mean, I remember riding the Harley-Davidson Pan America, I think that's the name, their adventure bike. The sat-nav on that from about 2-3 years ago already looked like it was about 12 years out of date. It looked so bad. I prefer a bike to be as stripped back as possible, purely personal preference, but for me, I'd probably do away with the tripper. I don't know if it's an option not to have it, but I just think it would keep the purity of the design and add to the timeless longevity of the bike if you don't put the tripper sat-nav on the bike as standard. I don't know why I open my mouth. Every single time I start talking like that, it all changes. Half an hour after I said I hope Royal Enfield won't call to ask to pick up the bike, they call to ask to pick up the bike. So they need to pick it up on Monday, which is in 4 days' time, and I'm slightly heartbroken, very grateful to Royal Enfield, of course, but I have loved having the Super Meteor, but I can't hog such an in-demand bike because there'll be a list of other people that want to use it. And I wasn't specifically planning on this. I almost did it without thinking at all. The second Royal Enfield contacted me and said they want to pick up the bike, I suddenly found myself, without even planning, on my laptop, emailing Honda, asking for the new Transalp. So it'll be interesting to see if they have one available for me. There's always been something about the Transalps for me, ever since I tried one in Tenerife. It's very weird, I didn't expect it, because it's not the kind of bike I usually go for, but I just fell in love with it in a very, very strange way. And it's a bike that's always been in my heart. I don't know why. It's strange how some bikes do certain things to you. So I'll see if they've got one available because I'm genuinely curious about that. But for now, make the most of the last few days on the Royal Enfield. I actually need to ride it over to Ipswich because that's where they're picking it up from. So I'll coincide that or coordinate that with a few days in Ipswich. And for now, I will take you with me because I need to buy a couple of thermals. I used to buy a lot of winter gear for bikes, but now all I do is I just wear thermals. They're so good. That's all you need. Normal riding gear, thermals underneath, anything up until about 4 degrees, and it works perfectly well. So I'll show you some really good value thermals from Uniqlo. These are meant to be the ultimate phenomenal. Uniqlo, £25 for each one. So bottoms and top, they come in different colours. It's not specific biking gear, but, and I trust the reviews, these really are meant to be the very best thing. They work at temperatures, and this isn't sponsored or anything, but minus 20 degrees. They're 2.25 times warmer than the original one. So all you need to do, put these on underneath your normal gear. The ones I've got are the lesser version of these, and they're so good that You just wear normal gear in winter and you're totally fine. This will mean I genuinely am never cold in the winter. So my winter rides will now be exactly the same as my summer rides. It's meaningless if it's summer or winter now. £25 each. I mean, that's really good value. Just buy one pair, and they've even got anti-odor, so you don't stink afterwards if the temperature suddenly goes to 30 degrees. Right, I will wrap it up there. I think I may do one more video taking the Super Meteor up to Ipswich to get it picked up, but thank you so much, as always, everyone, for coming on. I'll see you all in the next one.